I don't know how we want to do this.
Oh, no, don't live stream it yet. No. Oh,
Okay.
you are live streaming it now. Oh, because it's time. Never mind. Got you. A last minute submission for what?
Oh, they want, okay, this meeting. I don't know how we want to do this.
Oh, no, don't live stream it yet. No. Oh,
Okay.
you are live streaming it now.
And can
Oh,
you
'cause
drop
it's
the
fine.
YouTube
Never mind.
link
Got
in
you.
the
A last
comments?
minute
Because I need to put it on Network for Good. I need the YouTube link so I could post it to the event since we're gonna be live. Well, we already are live on YouTube.
And this is. I'm looking for the link.
Normally, if you, let me see, go to YouTube. Are you on the YouTube page, Elizabeth? Can you share the link in the comments? Thank you. All right, you can switch it to the intro and the music because we're about to go. And I will mute myself.
Deontay is talking. He's muted.
Hello, everyone. Hope everybody is having a blessed, prosperous day today. I am Deontay Damper. I'm the Vice President of WA Therapy Fund, and I want to thank you all for being here today at our first annual charity gala and auction. I want to let you know that this is being recorded and monitored for your insurance as well as ours. We're so excited to have all of you here. So excited to be here. And before we begin, I just want to, while you're chilling out here virtually and people across the globe, as WA Therapy Fund Foundation, we are based in the area of Seattle. So we would like to acknowledge that we're in the homeland of the first people of this land, the Duwamish, the Muckleshoot, Puyallup, Snoqualmie, Still-Quamish, Snoqualmish, and Tulalip tribes. We raise our hands in honor of the descendants of the coastal Chehalis people, and we thank them for their hospitality as the first people of this land, for the continuing use of their natural resources, as well as their ancestral homeland. We honor them in their immeasurable and unrecognizable contributions, their sacrifice of the indigenous people in general, the ongoing disparity, as well as the racism and political indivisibility experienced by the coastal Chehalis and indigenous people of this land. We share this with permission of Seattle urban Native nonprofits. That being said, we will now have the pleasure of introducing our girls, Ms. Sheila, who will be performing our Black National Anthem. She should be coming on in just a few. Hope everybody is good. We're going to be putting some things in the chat for you to be able to donate. We appreciate your support over the past couple of years. This got us started through my sister, Dr. Ashley McGirt, and it's just grown into something so lovely. And every time I've been hearing the Black National Anthem for the past year, I've just been crying. It's been a lot of healing that comes when I hear it now. It's like when Beyonce says, "Our sisters on the wall at the ghost chit chat," that's what I feel when I hear that song. So I'm very happy that we have Miss Sheila coming on for us today to sing the Black National Anthem for us. A little technical, but we'll be here.
Recording in progress.
I would sing my, there we are. Miss Sheila, so happy to have you. There she is. Hey, Sheila. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me. Sorry, having some technical difficulties, but thank you all so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm actually going to go ahead and take my background off really, really quick Sorry, bear with me. I am very new to Zoom. So guys can give me just a second. Okay. And let every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on to victory is won. Thank you guys.
We will now have, thank you so much, Sheila. That was a blessing. That was amazing. Thank you so much for devoting your time and that beautiful voice. I wouldn't have been able to sing it like that. Now we'll throw it off to my brother Houston, who will give us WATH Therapy Foundation's commitment. Thank you for being here, Houston.
Thank you, Deanna. Hi, I'm Houston Adair, a volunteer for the Washington Therapy Fund Foundation and mental health advocate. I am so excited to share with you the WATH Therapy Fund Foundation commitment. At WATH Therapy Fund, we are committed to providing individual, group, and collective healing among members of our community. We recognize and acknowledge that we cannot overcome oppression overnight, but as a community, we can work together to free ourselves emotionally. We believe one of the first steps towards healing is to acknowledge the systemic racial trauma, stress, anger, pain, frustration, and hurt that our community is experiencing, and recognize how they might affect our feelings, our thinking, our actions, and our interactions.
Amen. Thank you.
At WATH Therapy Fund, what we do is work towards eliminating barriers to Black healing by offering free therapeutic services and education, tuition assistance, and mental health advocacy for those within the Black community to heal. Who we serve are those within the Black community, including Black LGBTQIA+, Black refugees, Black children and youth, and anyone throughout the entire diaspora. And our impact thus far has been to provide over 500 free therapy sessions, over $3,000 towards tuition and book assistance, 46 contracted providers and growing who are committed to providing anti-oppressive psychotherapeutic care. And 90% of our funding goes directly towards serving our community. Thank you for being here today, and know that your support is truly valued.
So valued, and I appreciate you, Brother Houston, for that, letting people know our commitment. Now, WATH Therapy also has a mission, and the mission of WATH Therapy Fund is to alleviate the financial burden and barriers and burdens at a discount to both Black clients, as well as the therapists who serve them. The Wild Therapy Fund Foundation seeks grant-free therapeutic services for those within the Black community who are in need and are suffering through racial trauma, anxiety, depression, and other ailments due to systematic oppression. That's not been addressed in the past. Wild Therapy Fund also aims to support tuition costs of Black clinicians who serve in this community. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say that one more time. Wild Therapy Fund also aims to support tuition for costs of Black clinicians who serve in our community. The vision of Wild Therapy Fund is to eliminate the barriers to to eliminate the barriers to Black healing through providing therapeutic services at no cost to the client, while paying for the therapists who serve them in an adequate rate, along with tuition assistance and mental health education. We envision this will prevent the burnout while supporting therapists' business costs and potential student loan debt and cost of living. Now we'll get to meet the board. I have to now introduce one of my girls, one of my people, my sister in this play, Dr. Shalon Irvin. Very happy to have you here today, sister.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Shalon Irvin, and I'm one of the board members for the Washington Therapy Fund Foundation. I joined the board because I believe in the cause. As a clinical psychologist in this field, I have worked with, witnessed, and personally experienced many of the barriers that prolong Black healing. In the field of psychology, we focus a lot on the individual, but not always on the systems and systemic barriers that create symptoms. I wanted to be a part of the solution, and what better way to do so than being on the board of a foundation that not only addresses, but helps eliminate barriers. We have been able to serve so many community members in the middle of a global pandemic. We are hoping to make a global impact. We plan to continue being of service and will be implementing some new programs in the new year. Here is an overview of some of our current and new programming. As you can see, we have this free therapy. So the backbone of our foundation stems from our free therapy program that not only provides community members with free therapy, but also provides the amazing clinicians who serve them with an adequate wage. Too often, therapists provide pro bono and sliding scale services that lead to provider burnout. We value the work of the therapists, their skills, and their businesses. In addition, healing circles. We provide a number of evidence-informed, psychologically sound, culturally grounded, and community-defined self-help support groups designed to help heal and end the trauma caused by the root cause of anti-Black racism. Also, youth healing, because we cannot forget about our youth. We are committed to a special focus among our Black youth. This program focuses on mental health advocacy, anger management, violence prevention, anti-racism and allyship, HIV and AIDS education. The only way we're able to do this is through you. So we have our scholarship program, we have our Preserving Black Families, and our community safety. We want to continue to grow all of these programs, but this is why we're here, and this is why I am here to continue serving the community, because you can't be for the community if you're not with the community.
That's my sister, Ashley. She is at the same time thanking our funders, Kaiser Permanente Social Youth Justice Fund.
So much support. It's dedication.
I got you, sister.
Thank you so much for that amazing highlight of all of our programs and your dedication to this work. When I created the Washington Therapy Fund Foundation, I had no idea how many people would come on board to support. And it has been extremely tremendous. And again, I cannot thank you all enough. We are just coming out of our infancy stage and still in need of so much support. If you are available to volunteer or lend your support, please join our board and help us to continue our growth in 2022. You can sign up as a board member by completing our volunteer form at therapyfundfoundation.org. And even if you aren't able to commit and join as a board member, you can still volunteer with us. I also want to personally thank each and every one of our sponsors, which include the Social Justice Fund Northwest, Pride Foundation, Kaiser Permanente, and the Perigee Fund. The Perigee Fund sponsored $10,000 to help make this gala possible. The Perigee Fund partners with organizations whose initiatives support the infant-caregiver relationship and increase the capacity for families to experience healthy, joyful connections. They focus their funding and resources on two key areas: mental health and family support for well-being, particularly things that center communities of color. So again, we thank all of our sponsors and you. Please remember you can continue to support us by hitting that donate button throughout this event. We have a goal to raise $100,000 by the end of this year, and I know that it is possible with your support as you continue to share this event, share information about our organization, and continue to donate. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And now we are here. Thank you so much to our wonderful president. And now we're here. That's what y'all waiting for. Erin Jones. Erin Jones is our wonderful keynote speaker that we'll be having speak with us today. Erin Jones has been involved in around schools for the past 30 years. She's a mental health advocate and has taught in a variety of different environments. She received a recognition at the White House, March 2013, as a champion of change. I can second that here in Washington. And was at the Washington State PTA Outstanding Educator in 2015. After serving in the classroom as a teacher and a coach, Erin worked as an executive for 2 state superintendents. Erin left the office as superintendent of public instruction in 2012 and worked in college access at the school district level. Erin, sorry, excuse me, lost my place. You got a long biography, Erin, and I'm going to try to read it all, okay? Above all else, she has 3 adult children, a daughter who graduated from Central Washington University and works for an Equity in Education Coalition, and a son who is a 3rd-year graduate from USC, and one who attends college, who's a college coach for high school football. And you also have a husband of 20, she also has a husband of 28 years. Excuse me. I'm trying to make sure that I have this correct. My screen's messing up, I apologize. She currently serves as a professor at St. Martin's University, where she teaches a course of equity, and she's a part of the Teachers Education Department. We're thrilled to have Erin here today. Sorry about that, Erin. You know okay. I know you. You know I know you, sister. So
no worries. No worries. I'm excited to be here tonight. Anytime Ashley asks me to go anywhere, I will go. So I'm just honored to be present with all of you tonight. And I also have to call out my sister Nadra is on the line watching, and Nadra is a mental health expert as well. And from St. Martin's University too. So I got to give a shout out to my sister who's out there watching. I love this work, and I so appreciate what Ashley is doing and what she's collectively doing in community, because as a 30-year veteran educator, one of the things that I will say is the first 25 years of my career as an educator, we were not allowed to talk about mental health. We weren't allowed to talk about it for ourselves as adults. We were definitely not allowed to talk about it with our children. And for sure, not allowed to talk about the implications of racism. And so I just want to share some real stories about things that are happening in K-12 education, but also as I just read a book as well and have been traveling the country now for the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks now. I've been in different states all around the country, and I'm seeing parallel things happening across the nation that I want to speak to, because I think they speak to why it's so important to invest in what you all are doing right now. The pandemic is not only a health pandemic, we're having a racial pandemic, which we all know. All of us know this. Okay. And as I'm traveling the country, my book is actually about race and racial healing. And I am meeting white folks who are just for the first time realizing there's a racial problem and wondering why are Black folks in a tizzy. And it's the first time that white folks I'm talking to are realizing, oh my gosh, there's a burden that's being placed on Black folks. And so I want to offer that for the first time, I'm hearing teachers say, oh my gosh, my students need help. This is really putting a lot of weight on their shoulders, trying to take care of little brothers and sisters during the pandemic, but also watching George Floyd be murdered, watching Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, all the things that are happening. For the first time in my 30-year career, I'm seeing white teachers recognize, oh my gosh, now I see why little Johnny's behaving this way. Now I understand why little Susie is showing up in class this way. And for the first time, seeing some compassion in them around these issues. And that to me is really exciting. And I want to offer that it's also really important that our Black children get to go see Black professionals, because our Black children don't want to talk about racial issues with a white person who represents the very people that have done them harm. And so it's why when Ashley said, would you talk tonight? I was like, oh, amen, sister, I'm here. And I will be donating. Because this is so important. I teach at St. Martin's University. And right now I have the most diverse class of students. Most of you probably are not familiar with St. Martin's, but it's down in Lacey. It's a predominantly white institution. And yet my class, because I'm one of 2 Black professors, my class of 26 students has 20 Black and brown students in it. My class is the most diverse class they've ever had. For this particular course. And I know it's because I'm the professor. It matters who's in front of students. That representation absolutely matters. And so I'm teaching a class about equity, and mental health comes up every single period. I meet them once a week, and every single class period, mental health comes up. And so we've talked about mental health. And my students are sharing for the first time with me, Miss Jones, we are having mental health issues. And the university provides free mental health care. However, there are not counselors who look like my students. And so, yay that you're providing free mental health care, but if it doesn't match the needs of the students, then it's not really matching the needs. That's not actually equity. And so I think a lot of organizations are patting themselves on the back. We're investing in mental health care. We've got more counselors in schools. But if those counselors don't know how to address the needs of our students, then it's really not doing anything and maybe doing more harm than good. Right. And so I just want to offer a couple of stories. There is a teacher that I taught with. Actually, I started teaching with him 23 years ago. He was in the very first building that I taught in Tacoma, Washington. I walked in as a substitute teacher, and we were the only 2 Black people in the building. So we found each other. We found each other that very first day. And he's been teaching for a long time. So he's been teaching for almost 25 years. And he called me about a year ago. So right after George Floyd had been killed, he called and he said, Erin, I don't know that I had realized how angry I was as a Black man teaching in an all-white building until I got to teach from home. And I got to feel what it was to be surrounded by my people in my house, safe, able to cry when I see news that makes me upset. I don't have to put on a face for everybody. He said, I didn't realize how angry and stressed out I was until I was in the comfort of my home. And I just want to offer to you, because I've been online for a year and a half now, reaching out to Black teachers across the country. That is what I'm hearing from Black teachers. It's no different for people in business. It's no different for people who work in government. We are hurting as a people. And it feels like as soon as we get beyond something, then there's another thing that comes down. Then there's the Kyle Rittenhouse. Then there's the Ahmaud Arbery trial, right? As soon as it feels like we've just climbed up over something, there's January 6th. And so I just want to offer to us that it is okay to be hurting right now because we're broken. We as a nation are broken. We as a nation are broken. But here's the gift, I believe, of being Black right now. I at least know that I'm broken, and I know why I'm broken. I look around to some of my white brothers and sisters, they're broken and they don't even know it yet. And guess what I believe about healing? I believe you can't heal until you acknowledge that you're broken. You can't heal until you acknowledge that you're sick. And if you continue to deny that you're sick, how are you ever going to get well? And that's the gift of this. I believe that's the gift of this moment right now, that as Black folks, we can't say we're well. We can't. There are too many reminders that we are not well, we're not well, we're not well. But the gift of this is that because we are not well, we can get well. We can link arms with one another. We can say we need help, and we need to do it collective, because unlike many Americans, and I did not grow up in this country, unlike many Americans, we are not independent people. We are communal people. We're collective people. Human beings were designed to be collective. And right now, that independent spirit that is common to mostly white Americans is killing them. What will be our healing is when we choose to link arms and we choose to sit in circle with one another and we choose to let the experts help us heal. And so tonight I'm here because I really believe in collective healing. I need it as much as you do, as much as my students do, as much as my family needs it. We all need the collective healing, and that collective healing is going to cost something. And so I want to invite those of you who are watching and those who know people who have deep pockets, y'all. I'm going to be reaching out to some of my friends who have deep pockets. Let's invest in our collective healing. What's interesting is my book title is Bridges to Heal Us, because I absolutely believe we are at a bridge right now. And we can either blow up that bridge, or we can choose to cross that bridge, linking arms to our healing. But we have to be willing to give up something. We have to be willing to invest. And so I want to start by saying, Ashley, I actually don't want you to pay me. I want you to give whatever you were going to give me, put it back into the pot, because I can't ask people to do what I'm not willing to do. So I'm going to lead by example. So I'm leading by giving back the money that you were going to give me to speak tonight. And I want to sow the first seed. So let's get big. Whatever you were going to give, add to that. Stretch, because it's not about you. It's about we. It's about us. Thanks for having me tonight. Blessings to each one of you. I hope that I have the opportunity to meet you all in person. Man, this Zoom stuff, the Zoom life, I'm over it. But I love you all. I love you all. Ashley, thank you for being brave and courageous. You are such a great example and a light in our community. And blessings to each one of you.
Thank you so much, Erin. I appreciate you. I met you, I want to say like 3 years ago. I just moved back home, and it was a Black educators meeting, and it was so many different, there's a lot of people in that space, but you shine. It's so amazing when we watch our Black women walk into these rooms, and it's like, you're talking about education from 1990. I'm talking about education right now. We can no longer be elitist in these rooms. We have to have more conversation about inclusivity in our community. I think you were checking someone and they were old school teacher and they were saying LGBT whatever. No, it's not whatever. Let's start at the beginning. These pronouns aren't in game, and I'll never forget that, because that was my introduction to you, and just watching you over the years. And being a part of Wild Therapy Fund and knowing that you're out there, and Lacey pretty much navigating people to get the work done is amazing. And we thank you, we appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of the Wild Therapy family in this space. And we're just happy to have you here. Houston, I know that you had something to say. You're next.
Thanks again, Deontay. That's right. Acknowledging our pain and that we're broken is definitely where it starts. The very next step is asking yourself, what can you do to help heal the process? And one of the very first things you can do is give. The Washington Therapy Fund has provided over 500 free sessions of therapy to help improve mental health and well-being of those within the Black community who have been experiencing racial trauma, depression, anxiety, and other mental health related stressors. It costs approximately $150 an hour for one individual therapy session, and on average, $250 an hour for couple sessions. There are numerous challenges that our community faces when it comes to receiving therapy, and access to quality support services should not be one of them. Our therapists treat all community members as the experts of their own lives and give them the tools they need to take control of the present and improve their mental health and well-being as they break free from intergenerational trauma, stress, anxiety, and depression. By investigating and investing in culturally enriching and trauma-responsive mental health services, we can all contribute to a more just and equitable society. Your monthly investment will get us closer to breaking ground, achieving collective healing, reducing rates of suicide, domestic violence, and alleviating mental illness symptoms. Please give what you can. And if you can, become a monthly donor. Help us grow the Washington Therapy Fund Foundation well beyond 2022. Thank you.
You said, I didn't know we was gonna have another keynote, but that was amazing. Thank you very much. We will now move on to our raffle. So excited about this raffle. Nevertheless, we have 3 amazing prizes that will be given away today. The first prize is a $150 gift certificate to get your hair done by a Seattle staple, Miss Seville. So we're gonna spin that wheel real quick and come up with our winner. I feel like I'm on Let's Make a Deal. This is so cool, but see what we got here. Nidra Robinson. Nidra, Miss Nidra, she won that gift card. Miss Nidra, we will be contacting you shortly after this to give you that prize. Hair done by Seville, trust me. She done my mama's hair, she done my auntie's hair. She's a staple in this community and we love her so much. The second prize is a shawl designed by our girl Sheila. And she does Miss Ashley. I didn't know that either. All right now. Let's see, with the shawl, we got a beautiful custom shawl. Let's see here. Oh, no, we're gonna spin that again. That was just it. We're gonna do that again. We'll spin that one more time. All right, Wayne Levy, Mr. Wayne Levy. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you won that beautiful shawl made by Sheila. Okay, and see, I thought I heard Nidra's name earlier tonight. Congratulations, Miss Nidra and Mr. Levy. So the third prize is a copy with mental health trips to travel with, written by our own president, Miss Ashley McGirt, and founder, Ashley McGirt. Spin that wheel. Let's see what we got. Miss Jessica DeBose. Jessica DeBose, you have won a book written by our wonderful founder and president, Miss Ashley McGirt. So now we have a small message for you. Thank you everyone that's out there donating and participating. We will now go into a message from Safe Space. Should just take a couple of seconds.
The Safe Place app. This is a special message for the Washington Therapy Fund Foundation. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your Reimaging Wellness Gala. Talking about mental health in the Black community is still a very stigmatized topic. We really just don't like to talk about mental health or mental illness. We've been taught to always be strong and to hold in our emotions and to just pray away stuff like that. Like therapy and talking about your emotions in the Black community is just a very unpopular thing. We just think we just need Jesus and strength to get through everything. So I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. I experienced major depressive disorder, anxiety, and PTSD from childhood trauma. And I really never got the access to resources I needed as a child. And because of that, I'm still behind on just figuring out how to cope with my mental health in general from day to day. And I really wish I would have had those resources as a child, but I even had that same mentality growing up, thinking that I just needed to pray and be strong. Being a strong Black woman is something that's seen as highly in the Black community. Like, we have to just be a strong Black woman and we take care of everybody else, but we never take care of ourselves. And having that mentality was really making me suffer. So I didn't start getting help until I was an adult. And I just really, really wish I would have gotten so much help sooner. But because of the stigmatization of mental health and therapy in my community, it just wasn't there for me. So this is one of the main reasons I wanted to create the Safe Place app and give people in my community a place where they could feel safe to talk about their mental health issues and not feel so stigmatized about it. There is also a huge racial barrier when it comes to mental health and how people in the Black community have been treated in this country when it comes to just racism, colorism, featureism, police brutality, things throughout the generations like lynchings, Jim Crow, just all the segregation and all of the things that our ancestors had to go through, slavery. There's so many things and so many systemic barriers that still impact the mental health of the Black community until this present day. And we talk a lot about that in the Safe Place app and how that impacts our mental health. There is still a lot of lack of minority representation in psychology. There's not a lot of people who look like me, who are therapists and psychologists and counselors. And that makes the barrier a lot stronger because there isn't a lot of people who look like us in the mental health field. It's going to make people in the Black community feel less safe to talk to somebody about their mental health history or what they're experiencing, because they feel like, well, what is somebody who doesn't even look like me going to tell me about living in America, being Black in America? So it's really important to have more culturally competent mental health resources and also have more people who look like us who are providing these resources. Police brutality and just racism during the pandemic, which just really put into perspective just how we're still treated in this country because of the color of our skin. And having to see that and also go through a global pandemic, it can be very stressful to deal with because you're trying to stay 6 feet apart from people and you still have to worry about being racially profiled or even possibly being killed by the police for the color of your skin. So there's a lot of racial trauma that comes with that. And that's also another thing that we talk about in the Safe Place app. And it's another reason why I feel mental health for the Black community is so important to talk about and to learn more about. I also want any Black person watching this to know that it is okay to receive help if you are dealing with a severe mental illness. It is okay, there's no shame behind it. And it's also more important that we have more research and funding on this subject because this is really serious. You have people who are going through serious mental health issues and they are not getting the access to the resources that they need. And many of them don't even think they need these resources because of the systemic barriers and the stigmatization that has been put in the Black community when it comes to mental health issues. So we just really need more education, more funding, more research, and more understanding about Black mental health. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. Make sure y'all check out Safe Space as well. Next, we have a former top 25 ranked spoken word artist. This brother has opened up for neo soul artists Joe, Dwele, and John B. He's headlined in multiple cities, including a 3-night performance with the legendary actor Tim Reed, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This year, he was a part of the 100th year anniversary of the Black Wall Street Massacre and the inaugural Juneteenth celebration. Without further ado, the artist, Joe Mack. Thank you very much for being here, brother.
I appreciate y'all. JoeMackSpeaks.com. Y'all don't know I do more than poetry. Speak on mental health, diversion, equality, inclusion, all that. Done it for the military. This piece right here is titled Black Joker. It's based on the movie Joker, and as you all know, that movie centered around how Joker came about. And if you watch the movie, it deals with mental health. So there might be some things you hear in this poem that's kind of rough and around the edges, but just bear with me. This is the trigger warning. You can also find the video to this on my artist Joe Mack YouTube channel. In the movie Joker, Arthur Fleck was a simple yet mentally challenged man who just wanted to make people laugh and smile. The clown simply created his own circus, but much like unworthy spectators, they wanted money back for their ticket purchase, and their version of a refund was cashing out on his misfortune. You see, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but what is the price paid when those who are supposed to love you abandon you? Fathers who never wanted to go to bat for you, even though a Batman is what they created. A mother whose lives crossed at the intersection of mental asylums and lost journals, hit you the minute you thought it was safe to step into the crosswalk. And when you didn't want to walk, you took the subway, only to realize that the underground is a representation of life without love, fast and empty. So now the comedian turns into the crybaby, who turns into the crazy maniac, who turns to the cold-blooded killer, and all people can say is how we didn't see this coming. And now the joke's on them, and the laughter they proclaim is the best medicine is nothing more than chocolate-covered Percocets. You see, I learned a long time ago that some people are silently begging for hugs and words of affirmation, but instead they get fucked over by the hands of many. And I don't know whether I want to label it molestation or masturbation. Either way, trauma is fucking real. So sometimes, to prevent you from losing your own mind, you might have to form your own smile to laugh at your own trials. You might have to dye your hair green because people are more in love with dead human faces than the ones that are actual living. And whoever thought that a white face would have to put on white face? And Joker is the only confirmed case of white privilege being non-existent in a white body. So now we understand why he found cuffing in a sister. Because privilege is a missing entity for Black folks, and people only relate to what they can gravitate towards. Hey, I got a joke. Knock. Who's there? It's the poet who signs up at the top of the list, but he can't get his moment because they kick him down to the bottom because he is not deemed as part of their slam crowd. So now his words becomes his gun, his metaphors become hollow points, his tone is a shot heard around the world, and the audience is sadly his unsuspected victims. I got another joke. No. I got a riddle. What do you call mentally challenged and outcast, deranged with a mirror at home? You call it your only friend in the world. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you, artist Joe Mack. I appreciate you. That was fire. That was fire.
Appreciate it, brother.
Definitely got to get you up here to Seattle. We appreciate your wisdom in this space. Joe Speaks, we thank you.
Right.
All right. We got to take that in for a second. Sorry, y'all. The next.
My name is Dr. Pam, and I am a huge advocate for mental wellness, especially in the Black communities. Now is the time to remove the stigmas around therapy and normalize taking care of your mental health just as much as you do your physical health. The Black community is plagued with seeing graphic videos and images of men and women in our community being harmed and killed, which often leads to trauma responses like fear, anxiety, depression, and even PTSD. So let's normalize getting the mental health support that we need to be better. It's time for our community to heal.
Thank you, Dr. Grover. We really appreciate you. Next, this lady needs no introduction. I love the fact of when we talk about, I need a seat at the table, what Ashley McGirt has done for this community is she said, we're going to build our own. We're going to, and also make space for our other community members. And we're not talking about just one diaspora, Black. And we're not going to adopt any other words, such as BIPOC, in this conversation. She's talking about the whole diaspora of Black, and building WAT Therapy Fund, as well as taking it even in other spaces is amazing. But I am so happy to be a part of the table and have a message from our wonderful founder, my friend, Ashley McGirt.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I cannot thank you enough. You mean so much to me, and I'm so grateful that you decided to be our vice president. So again, thank you for that fabulous introduction. Thank you all for being here today, Saturday evening, because the truth is, I'm not supposed to be here. I was never supposed to start a nonprofit or a therapy practice. I am not supposed to be sitting here before you all, whether it be virtual or whether it be in person. The truth is, my ashes were supposed to be scattered along the ocean a long time ago. Many know that I used to work hospice and provided emotional support to the dying. No one ever understood how I could sit at the bedside of the dying and do that work. How could I consume my life with the end of so many others' lives? The truth is, because for a very long time, all I thought about was my own death. When my grandmother died, I felt a part of my soul go with her. I contemplated suicide more times than I can count. I hid in dark places with a bottle of pills, a pen, and the prayers that my grandmother left with me. I am the blood and bone of a Black woman's prayers. See, my grandmother prayed for me before I was even here, and her mother and her mother. It is through her prayers where I gather most of my strength, because Lord knows every single day I'm stepping out on one of my grandmother's prayers. The glitz and glam of a world-traveling international speaker, mental health therapist, did not come without blood, sweat, and tears. I do this work because of my childhood experiences, the childhood experiences that I faced firsthand, the same experiences many Black children like myself have endured. When my grandmother died, I experienced immense grief. That grief turned into major depression. I sought help multiple times. I would spend my days with a school counselor, a culturally incompetent white woman who often asked me to educate her on my culture and what life was like for me growing up Black in Berrien. In those moments, I knew something was off. I knew this wasn't the way to wellness. I imagined deep down in the pit of my stomach that there had to be another way, a better way. I imagined there were other Black girls and boys, other Black people like myself, feeling what I was feeling. Since that moment, I have dedicated my life to reimagining new ways to wellness. And not only reimagining, but working to make it a reality. Because 9-year-old Ashley, whose grandmother had died and was left alone while her mother was strung out, the very thing that plagued Black families and whose father was incarcerated for almost a decade, needed to reimagine wellness. I need you all to reimagine wellness to help communities heal centuries of generational trauma and systemic oppression. We need Black boys and girls to heal, Black non-binary, Black trans, and everyone else in between. We need you. We need you all to reimagine wellness. Thank you.
Ashley, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. We want to also just remind you all that we do have an auction going on still that you can still be able to reach out for. Sorry, I have to go back because I have to be real transparent. Ashley, that was beautiful. I'm so grateful to be a part of this board with you and to continue to build. And as we're continuing to build, that's when we come to you, community. We come to you for an ask. We still need you to donate right now. We just got a message that we got close to 21,000. We would love to have more in the space to make sure that we're outreaching to all of our youth, to our Black community members, our women, our children, people who've been impacted by domestic violence, people who are people who are going back to work during COVID and still haven't managed to get to that 100%. People that have lost family members through COVID, people who are having to go back to work knowing that racial injustice has impacted them so much they can be at a standstill. For our Black fathers trying to make it as a single parent, for our Black mothers trying to make it as a single parent, for our youth that need that. Right now we're at 21,445. We're asking you, community, to do some outreach. Look in there. If it's 20, if it's 30, if it's $1,000, if it's $20,000, this is for our community. We want to help continue to build that table, and that table starts with wellness. This is a wellness table. We're asking you to continue to donate to us, even just after this space, or figure out ways that you can outreach. We have some really cool things coming up next year. We're going to be more intentional in the spaces of what we're outreaching to. We know we're working towards the whole diaspora of Black and the wellness of that, and we're going to continue to do that. But we need your help. We need your donation. So please feel free to reach out to us. We got the donate button that just came out. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at admin@wildtherapyfundfoundation.org. Any financial inquiries at accounting@wildtherapy.org. And keep in mind, I do want to make sure that I shout out to Prestige for their $10,000 donation. And we thank you for being an ally in this community with us. And $5,000 from the Pride Foundation. We have some really cool things coming up, and we want to make sure that we're including you in the space. So please feel free to reach out to us. Our board, we have an amazing group of board members that also have a lot to add on to this table. But I just want to thank everyone in this space for coming out tonight, from Houston to Dr. Shalon, let's also give it up to the people in the background, the administrative assistant here at Watt Therapy, Elizabeth. We also want to thank you, community, for being out here. We have that donate button there at the bottom, so please look out. We are, and Jaquel and Nasari, I forgot about that. Nasari, happy belated birthday as well. I want to make sure we're thanking our staff in here, and I would say goodbye, good night, but this is only just the beginning for Watt Therapy Fund. We have this gala now, but come 2022, we're gonna show you what to do. I wanna thank everyone for being here tonight. Make sure that you are reaching out to your loved ones during this time. And if you need anything for Watt Therapy, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you all, and good night.